Hey, welcome to part 4 of How to Buy a Home. At this point, we've talked about everything leading up to getting that offer accepted. You have a sign that says pending in the front yard. And now what? There's actually a few things that still need to happen. So, we are entering the closing process, and let's talk about what that entails. So, before you actually buy the house, of course, you want to know what's wrong with it. Is there anything I need to be worried about, looking out for, quick fixes before I move in? So, there's a couple of different ways you're going to find that out. First of all, you're going to get the seller's property condition disclosure form. This is where they're going to check boxes that say, here's what works, here's what doesn't, here's what we've had problems with in the past, here's how old different things are. So you'll have a general idea of the condition of the property. The only downside of this is that while the seller is not allowed to lie or misrepresent it in any way, sometimes they won't know all the answers. If there's a system in the house that they're not really using, if they've only lived there a short period of time, or if they just don't understand the question, they might not be able to give you all the information. So I always recommend that you also get an inspection. An inspector's job is to hit every single nook and cranny in the house from the roof to the crawl space, and they'll give you a nice list of every single thing that could be a concern. Sometimes they'll even do a video walkthrough or meet you in person so you can see exactly what they're looking at. They're going to tell you all those things, those tiny little fixes and those big worrying things, because they know exactly what to look out for. So, if you decide that once you find things out, you don't want to be paying as much for the house, this is where you can negotiate on that. What are you going to fix? What are they going to fix? But if you also are like, listen, I'm out, I don't want to deal with something that's got this many problems, this is also where it is your legal right to walk out. No penalties. You are not going to be forced to buy something that has a ton of problems. You are going to know exactly what's wrong with it going in so that you know it's in a condition that you can live with. Next, you're going to get an appraisal. This is where you have someone come in and double check that the value of the house matches up with what you're paying for it. This is especially important when you're getting a loan because the bank doesn't want to give you $1 million for a property that's worth $100,000. So making sure that those things match up means that we're ready to move forward to the last step. Finally, you're going to set up an appointment with your title company so you can get all the paperwork signed. One of the documents you're going to look at will have a chart with a breakdown on what the seller is covering versus what you're covering. For example, we talked about the fact that the seller is going to compensate the agents, theirs and yours. But there's other things that you will be responsible for covering, like the inspection and appraisal that we talked about today. You'll see all of this stuff written out in the chart. There's also a few things that'll be kind of divided between you two. For example, let's say it's June and the seller has already paid all of their homeowners association dues for the year. It doesn't really make sense for them to pay the entire year when they're only there for half, so you would cover that half and reimburse them. On the other hand, property taxes aren't due until December, so you don't want to be on the hook for covering all of that when you've only been there half the year, so they will pay a prorated amount to you. Once you have everything all signed and ready to go, you will get the keys and you're a homeowner. Congratulations! So, I hope this little video series has been informative for you and maybe it gives you some hope that you can do it someday on your own. If you are ready to start taking these steps in real life, or if you know somebody who is, please feel free to reach out to me or share this video. I hope to hear back from you and I hope you enjoy. Have a great one.